Hello, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is Our Yarn World, a place we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We're on episode 192. She told me before the episode started, but it's right there, so I can just read it, obviously. And it is the start of October. My face hasn't been here since the start of September, so, yeah. No, we did not have a falling out. There was nothing problematic there. There was just some events that took place and then a period of illness that took over the family. So, sadly, a forced hiatus was created, and she even had to do a solo appearance last week, which I am very sorry about.
That's okay.
But I still was not doing well. I will share that later on, but just to say, autumn is here, and the colors are here, and the leaves are turning, and
falling.
And I was in a great bit of denial for a good bit when it started happening, because the kids went to school, and then it was an instantaneous shift towards autumn, and I was like, no, it's not autumn yet. We still have a couple of weeks, but it was already here. Nature had already made its choice, and it just felt like I was having such a hard time accepting that it was here. And now that it is, I'm just kind of it's the time where I have to go do the whole walk outside and see what sort of weather it is.
Yeah.
To check now.
Yeah.
It's just, excuse me, there's just a level of, I guess I really feel like I have been in such a state of constant go, or some sort of inability to notice something like the passage of time with the seasons, that by the time that autumn got here, I'm normally so prepared and ready, and now this year has felt quite a shock. I'm just stuck being how is summer over already? How have I not noticed that this has happened? I'm struggling to grasp the fact that it's already here in some way. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's...
At the same time, in the mornings it's quite cool and you need your hoodie or whatever. By evening, it could be 78, 80, 82, and you're like, oh, let me get this thing off, I'm too hot. And so I think we're going through a little bit of an Indian summer right now, but it's just it's the trees are responding, but at the same time, it depends on the hour of the day in Michigan as to what you're going to be wearing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to stay on it too long. I've already done fallish things. We've already gone apple picking.
That sounds fun.
We've had some cider. My mom already has the pumpkin out that I made a while back. And we have found all of our pumpkins that she has made us, and we have them out. There are some things that we have done. But there's a level, like I said, I don't know how to say it. Most years, I am so much more prepared for autumn. And for some reason this year, I feel very taken aback. It just came as such a shock. Autumn is such a very specific season for me. Something that I heavily enjoy and treasure and anticipate. And it's not that I don't, but I guess I just felt very unprepared for it to be here, because it's normally such a joy.
Yeah.
And so much has consumed my focus that to not notice that it was already here felt like such a shock. But that's my own issues. But even now, just making that recollection that, hey, my last time being here on the channel was practically a month ago. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I enjoy. It's just, a passage of time has been such a weird experience for me recently, and I guess it's just bound to be, but as it is.
So, last week I showed you the two blankets that I was able to finish for a couple of children.
Just got to see those. They're really cool.
And I started another blanket. Now, it is still the 10 millimeter hook, it is still the half double crochet, and it is still 2 strands. My favorite. I love those combinations. But there's a catch.
My favorite. I love it when she does this. It's not an ombre effect. It's more of like a bricked effect.
Yeah.
Or it's almost like a chained effect where it's like one lasts just long enough to get to the next one, to the next one, to the next one.
So I started out with orange and red, but here's the catch. So I did four rows of each. So you have the orange and red, but I continued the red. I discontinued the orange. I continued the red, and then
Stopped the red, kept with the white.
No, I kept with the seafoam.
No.
And then stopped the red, started the seafoam, and had that going into the brown. And then we've got the browns, which I ran out of the dark, so I ended up having to do a lighter brown. The oranges, the yellows, the greens, the blues, it's more like a burnt umber, and then I have the yellows, the reds, the creams, the oranges, the greens, and then I'm working into blues now. And it just, so you work with that color for 8 rows.
With two different colors.
So, yeah, but the last one is, let's sorry.
You're fine.
So for the orange, you're working in 8 rows. When you switch colors from the cream to the green, that green will continue on for the 8 rows after you're done. You know, like you're combining them right here, but you're working 8 oranges. You go into the green, you're working 8 more rows of the green, but you're just switching that color halfway through. And I don't know if this is making sense, but it sure is fun. It makes me have to think, what is my next color when I get done with the 4? But you're keeping the one color, and you're working with you're working your new color in, which is going to end up being the next 8. And so I have a whole bucket of yarn next to me, and some of the yarns get down to the nitty gritty, and you can't work with them anymore because you're not going to get all the way across. Oh, and by the way, I chained 101 and came back 100. So, and I don't know who this is for yet. It's just something I'm working on because I have the yarn and I have the time, and it's getting colder out, and that's just what I do. And so, you know, whenever that person comes along, I will have a blanket for them. And it's considered a hug, you know. You just wrap it around yourself and give yourself a hug. So,
yeah, so they're offset. So one color will last for 8 rounds, but they're always offset, like so where the next color meets in the middle of that round, continues on even after this one has gone, and then another color meets at that 4 rows, and they keep offsetting.
Yeah.
It's not an ombre, but it allows for the passage of colors, despite the stark contrast of them, to still feel easy on the eyes, because your brain is recognizing that there's a pattern that does make sense despite the clashing of the colors, which creates a softer approach to it than just sometimes your starker, more abrasive changes that you've done in the past. This one is so much more, it just feels like this is what was meant to happen.
Right, and I'm not waiting until the end of the yarn anymore. When the 4 rows is over, it's done.
Or the 8 rows.
Yeah, well, you're working,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but so you always end a row. You're not going into the next row waiting for the yarn to end.
Yeah.
You're always ending a row so that it's all striped.
Which is something that normally she doesn't do with her scrappy blanket. She normally has them complete themselves before she changes their color. But with this one, that's not how she's operating, which I think, like I said, makes for a much more intentional pattern that is very versatile, because even though it is a mixed match of tones and varieties, it does feel quite intentional.
And I didn't mention that I tried to pick out all the autumn colors. And because the blue is in there, I figured that's the sky.
Okay, yeah.
The brilliance of the reds and the yellows and the oranges with blue skies and green grass and whatever. So I'm kind of just putting all these fall colors in to make it, just vibrant.
The blue, this navy blue with this yellow, almost maize color reminds me of Michigan.
Yeah.
University of Michigan's colors.
Right. Well, I
not that they're playing right now. Detroit's playing, but
I was going to use orange, but then I figured I just had used orange, and I wanted something.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that and that's such a fall thing too.
Right.
This, the holiday of the football.
But the yellow and the blue is always a classic colors to go to too, and but I'm really enjoying this blanket, making it and figuring out the next color to go to, and knowing that it's going to travel up, and what colors can you combine with it, and just that's my favorite things too, is the combination of colors or the change of colors. And I'm just like so in heaven right now.
Yeah.
All my favorite things, the 10 millimeter hook, the half double crochet, the 2 strands, the changing of the colors. It's just all my favorite things. So
yes.
So what's been happening with you?
We've been in quite the flux. The people that were living with us are no longer with us, changing the availability we have with our space. Excuse me. Drinking this pop and it keeps causing me to burp. But it led also into a very specific visit we normally have with some relatives that come and visit us this time of year, normally because of birthdays that happen around this time. And they were inspired to kind of help the kids personalize their rooms with colors and paint. And as we were prepping for that to occur during their visit, I came down with COVID. And which kind of put, some grinding halt to some of it. But I've been doing most of the paint on my own, not intentionally. That was not the original plan. The family member that was inspired to gift us with the ability to have the kids pick out their own colors for the paint had planned to do it themselves. Maybe with our help, but like it was something they wanted to do with, for the kids. But obviously, me coming down with COVID, my husband, while the kids were at school, because we were allowed, I did make sure to follow all the rules, and the kids had no symptoms, and so they were fine to go. But the way that it worked was that he was trying to paint with me, but it was causing him this massive headache to smell the paint, which I couldn't smell or taste anything at that point. But he ended up coming down with an ear infection, sinus infection, which was what was causing his headache with the smell. And so I so far have taken on the mantle of all the painting, which not that big of a deal. In some ways it was kind of a blessing because it still allowed me to feel like I was getting stuff done for the kids while not being able to be with the kids, while my more contagious part of being under COVID was underway and us not wanting the kids to get sick. But so far I've been taking my time, because what happened was within almost a week of having COVID, where I was supposed to start cresting the threshold of recovery, I came down with pneumonia. And at least the beginning stages of pneumonia. And I was rushed on some pretty hardcore antibiotics, which took me out for a while too. And still recovering from those side effects because they can have their own. But I am grateful that they were able to catch that before that became something bigger. Yes. I am still short of breath. I still have tightness in my chest. Talking can still lead me to cough. Not anything up, but just it's hard to manage my breathing still under the strain of my muscles and my fatigue, which I still am trying to recover from, because I had not eaten very well during that time, and I was under a lot of physical impairment with all the fevers I was going through and the limitations that both the illnesses were forcing on my body. So I'm very slowly reviving, but my attention span hasn't been exactly great. So I haven't been doing any crafting like I normally would, or normally be inspired to with the season. Even my reading has been very interesting, because like I'll have spurts where my attention span for like reading physically is available, but when that goes, it's all audiobook, which is fine. I already have visual impairments I was born with. My eyes are not perfect vision, but it's just one of those things where it's like my mind wanted to be stimulated with some sort of story, so luckily my audiobooks have been a great relief regarding that, and I've been listening to those as I was preparing for my family members to come, as I've been working through moving things around to be able to paint while I've been painting. Even the last couple of days, even this morning, I just had it on just to be able to, because I was engaged with the story, but also just while I was just doing regular day tasks for my morning routine. Just, that's what I've been doing. I have had other creative outlets I have been working on during this time. Not anything I really want to get into, but just, I haven't been able to sit down and just craft. I've had ideas, and I do believe some of them are going to be welcome to the children that I am hopeful to do them for, such as the fact that despite the fact that I thought that my daughter would be very excited about her rooms slowly coming back to being fully hers and not her not having to share it anymore, it's been very interesting to realize how much she wants it to stay the same. Despite the fact that the colors are in her room, she wants furniture to be exactly where it was before. She doesn't want anything to move. I thought that we were going to be adjusting it with the available space, but she doesn't want that, and that's fine. But with the color being what it is now, it does open up the idea to be able to have more focal points with just wall art. And I don't think that she would be opposed to that, especially with it being such an impressive color.
Well, and she's into the dark and moody wall color, so
Yeah.
we're kind of excited about that too.
So I have a couple ideas I want to pose on her to see if she'd like them. And in doing that, I probably will be sharing those crafts with you guys in the coming weeks, including my son. My son chose a very extremely vibrant color, and
A superhero color.
yeah. And so I'm working through that right now. It's what I've been painting. But just the aspect of like how I'm going to be helping maintain his space and create more of a cohesiveness for his space as well. Just structure, working through decluttering, working through what they actually want in their room and don't want in their rooms. Right. That's been my major project. I am still very inspired by everything, seeing even the toys I've made over time, seeing just all the homemade things that they even just have or want to have. Like my son loves to collect things to upcycle with crafting. He's very into that.
Yes.
Both of my kids have been really into coloring recently. They both have been having to always have a notebook with them with some sort of pen or crayon or pencil. And they've been actively doing that on the regular for decompression. It's been very interesting to just see how small actions of creativity have led to not only the sanctuary of their space, the way that their space has been personalized, but also just the way that you can tell not only them apart, but what the creativity of not only our lives, but just how that has been interpreted to them.
Right.
And what that means for them.
Right.
And how amazing that is, you know? And I appreciate that, that opportunity to be able to have that moment to just, even if I am not crafting, I am able to have this pause of like seeing the influence our creativity has left an impact on their lives.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Cleaning Daniel's room, I found 2 of my crafting books that he was looking through the pictures a couple of months ago. I was trying to find them for a video show and tell. The other day I came into him having a fight with the Bowser that I had made. Just...
Oh, fun.
You know, going through some of Olivia's stuff, seeing all the homemade blankets she has and organizes, and just some of the stuff that she has collected over time and just what she favors. It's nice. I can definitely tell when things have definitely outgrown their spot.
Right.
Or their spot in their lives, which is fine. No issue with that. Some of it's just more memorable and sentimental to me, just in the ability to be able to remember that stage in their life than it is for them to owe it to me to keep it.
Yeah.
If I've already told them, these are toys Mommy's probably not gonna pass on. If you outgrow these toys, Mommy will just keep them. And that's not to make them feel bad, just as they're good memories for me. They were late nights running to the finish at 4 a.m. before Christmas happened, being able to make sure that I had them for them in the morning, and them loving them so much that they were carrying them around through the rest of the day for their one toy that they could bring to the other Christmas celebration. So there's a level of just nostalgia there for me, but it's been just very interesting to see those things. It's been fun to be able to personalize their spaces and see their personalities at play. And I'm really hopeful that my little one, she'll be interested in some of the things I have to offer her space. I know that for a lot of things, she doesn't want a lot of things to change, but just to be able to offer some way to be able to personalize it in a way that still feels new, but not unwelcome. For her, a lot of things have changed really fast. She did not like the invasion of her space being taken over, even with good intentions by the colors and stuff originally, just because, you know, her roommate had just left. She's getting into school. She doesn't know why things are moving in her room by the time she gets back home. Even though we had not touched anything, we were just moving aside to be able to paint. It just was a bit of an invasion of her privacy. So there's a lot of things where, at this point, a lot of things are, hey, what do you feel about this? Not because I don't think that my intentions aren't warranted or that I don't have a good educated guess as to what she would like, but just because all the assumptions up until this point have seemed to be quite just, it's not that I don't like it, Mom, but it's just that I wish you would have asked, or I wish that people would have asked me, and it's like, okay. And we have to remember that as kids grow up, the way that they want things become more particular, more honed in, and it's not something that Mom and Dad have to just guesstimate. And, you know, like, it's not like when they were 3 and you knew they liked Paw Patrol, so anything Paw Patrol was going to be absolutely welcome. Right. Now there's a level of nuance and levels of interest and what they want to be in their environment that they're creating for themselves, for their safe spaces.
Yeah, and it's just, they're real little people now.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've always been, but
I know
what I mean.
They have their own opinions now.
Yes,
they're not being shoved their parents' opinions. They have their own now.
Yeah,
and it's they don't want, it's a sign of growing up.
They don't want me to just make the decision for them. They want to make it themselves.
Right.
And even though, like I said, I have a very high estimated guess as to what they would want, it's at the point now where we're at that stage in their development where they want to have the choice to be a part of the conversation. Yes. And I am trying my very best to be as much of their advocate as possible, while also just kind of being like, it's okay that a lot of these changes have happened, but they've all been with good intentions.
Yeah.
And we've done everything to make sure that you're a part of it. And even though it's a lot, like the color change, for as much as they enjoyed it, was just, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of moving of stuff. It's a lot of, you know, just stimulation change with the color changes. Even if it was welcome and what they wanted, it just, the difference between almost like that knowledge of what it is to it actually being in front of you can be two different things. And just seeing them just be like, I just don't know how much more I want to change. And I'm like, okay, no reason for that to worry you. As adults, we sometimes need that graphic change to feel like we're in control of something, whereas for littles, they don't want a big change. They want certain things to stay the same so that they have that stability. And so it's those small differences of, yes, I want to be able to exercise my autonomy, but I also want to be able to recognize what I know.
Yeah.
Whereas with adults, especially like girls, where they're like, I'm going to chop my hair off because I just need to be able to do something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a sense of just absolute control that gives us this sense of thrill that we have in being able to be in control of something really drastic that doesn't hurt us. With littles, they don't always have that same sense of adventure.
Right.
Which is fine. That's their level of development. But I have to keep that in mind, that it's not the same rush as what we experience.
Right. Making their own choices is a little rough sometimes.
Even if it means not wanting what mommy and daddy have in mind. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It is okay. But
So-
yeah, that's been what I've been up to. On top of being sick, I've been painting, so that's been my creative outlet. I just wanted to be able to help them personalize their room, but trying to make sure that it's welcome. And I do have some ideas as to what I want to do. Even if that doesn't work, I have been doing some other things in the house that should open up to me being able to personalize other things and be able to make crafts. And on top of it, we're getting into the later seasons, and so prepping for
the craftiest time of the year is coming up too.
So there's some things to do, but we will we'll approach that, and I'm trying to give myself the ability to also recover properly,
Yeah.
because this really affected my attention span.
Oh, yeah.
This time.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been sick like that. Last time I was sick like that, I had bronchitis, and that took me out for almost 6 weeks.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
We picked out a quote and for the autumn time, and it says, "Notice that autumn is more the season of the soul than of nature." And that was said by Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche. Notice that autumn is more the season of the soul than of nature. Isn't it something? If you see anybody on Facebook or YouTube, they're all talking about the cozy. They're wanting to get cozy. They want the hot drinks. They want the pumpkins. The pumpkin spice. Mm-hmm. They want the cozy blankets. They want sweaters and to curl up with a good book or whatever the cozy is for you. If you see any of that, it's usually happening during the autumn season, and I think that is true. It's more of a season of the soul than of nature. You get into this situation where all of a sudden the temperatures cool down and all you want is that cozy blanket and to snuggle up and get your nice cozy hoodie on and your leggings and just curl up with a nice hot drink. And so that's what I think of when autumn starts hitting. It's like, okay, now we're in that season, and it's not wintertime yet, and it's just getting off summer. You just have that transition, into something that's it's getting you ready for winter, but you're not there yet. So you just still get to have some fun things like the apple picking and the cider tastings and all the things that come
all the harvests and
picking out pumpkins for the kids or carving the pumpkins or whatever it is that you are doing. You get to do that.
The seasonal recipes.
Yes. So I don't know, it's kind of a fun season to just a lot of reminiscing happens. Last fall or the fall before that, we got to do this and this is what we were doing and all that kind of stuff. And I was just telling, was it you? We need to get our family pictures done again.
Oh, yes.
And we want to do them as individual families, but also the whole group of us doing it together. And we like to hang them up on our walls and just remember the times when we were all together like that. So what do you think?
I think my thing about it is how it's an overwhelming experience. I think the seasons just in general are very almost like celebratory experience. If you think about it, when you go from winter to spring, there's this sense of I'm not confined anymore. Even my clothes, I don't have to wear as many clothes.
Yeah.
And then with the summer, there's a sense of freedom because you don't have to worry about having a jacket. You can throw on some slides. Your purse can be lighter because you don't have to carry so many gloves or hats or whatever. There's this sense of abundant freedom. There's less restrictions. There's less problems on the road. There's less illness. There's a lot of less things, right? You don't have to think as much about what you have to do besides maybe some sunblock, some sunnies, and a hat, and just go have fun. And whereas when you get into this, when you get into the season of the fall, you have this aspect of I'm getting ready for a time where I'm going to be in like this hibernation mode. It is this sense of preparation when you're pulling out your winter wardrobe, but you still need your summer one. It's like there's this transition that you're mentally getting into for, and it's like a preparation. And you're having the last harvest, you're getting all these things together. And on top of the seasons, you also have the holidays that you're spending together, whether it be something that you do just because you celebrate it for religious reasons or just as a way to be able to be with family.
Yeah.
There's this sense of an understanding as to what everyone's doing, what everyone's prepping to do, and everyone's experiencing it all at once. And there's this... It is something that you feel. Now, with autumn, it to me, it's a lot more comfortable. There's no oppressive heat, but it's not overly cold. Whereas I noticed that with like the spring, you're still dealing with things like ice and snow being on the ground. You don't have that yet. And we're not in the wet part of autumn where it's raining all the time yet. So there's a sense of I can still throw on my flip-flops while still having a hoodie. Or there's this sense of still this aspect of freedom and this ability to still move and be energetic while also recognizing that, again, we're putting more layers on, there's more of a restriction, there's more thoughts going into it, but the bite in the air and the smells of the leaves and the sensation that the colors bring and the inspiration that they bring, there is so much memory of positive memories that I have with autumn. And just trips through the woods, hiking, and I love the smell of leaves and wet earth and
picking up pine cones.
And just there's just a sense of it really does call to you. I don't know how real this is, but I do remember some sort of scientific discovery being that human beings are one of the only species with the sense of smelling soil when it comes to rain specifically. Like this sense of like the earth being stimulated or by the rain. Like you not only can smell the rain, but you can smell what it's doing when and what it has done after a rain, like smelling the soil.
Right.
And there's such a sense of connection that we have with that sensation that is so like vital to us, especially in the fall. Whereas this sense of like preparation of it's going to turn from rain to snowflakes. It's going to turn from pliable ground to hard ground. There's this sense of getting ready for what's about to happen that does create this sense of hunkering down, cozy or not. There's this sense of like, I just have to be ready. And also, it makes you don't want to miss it. Because in the prep to get ready for it being cold, there's a sense of pause where you want to sit down and just watch it.
Right.
You want to be a part of it. You want to be in the woods with the trees as they turn. You want to be a part of that calm.
True.
So it does affect the soul. Notice that the autumn is more of a season of the soul than of nature. It's a sense of preparation.
Yeah.
And change.
And getting ready for the next.
And getting ready. And prepping yourself. It's a moment, not before it's not like the whole peace before the storm, because that's not what it is for me. It's just much more of a, here's a collective deep breath.
Yeah.
Before the next thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, unlike spring, fall feels different as a transitional holiday.
It really does.
As a transitional season, it just has always felt different.
Yes.
It inspires more. It is more like, everyone gets excited for summer, I get that, but sometimes summer can be oppressive.
Hot.
And I'm not saying that winter can't be stressful, but fall, it just makes you happy. There's so much color.
Yeah.
It's hard not to feel it.
Yes.
So we thank you for joining us today. We know we kind of rambled a lot today. Hopefully, for anyone who's made it to the end, you've enjoyed it. We always appreciate those who fellowship with us all the way to the end. We kind of just ramble because we feel like we know you guys, or that it's just kind of like friends that we haven't met yet. We feel like if you're here with us, then you share our not only sense of crafting taste, but our sense of just, fellowship, so to speak.
And our quirkiness.
Yes. So, as always, we thank you for joining us today. We hope that you come again, like, subscribe, share, and we hope that you stitch your way
to mental health.